Right. So let's talk about AI misuses and dark side of the AI. While AI offers transformative benefits, we also need to be wary of unethical AI practice because it can lead to privacy invasion, discrimination, misinformation, and even harm to society. Addressing these risks is crucial for responsible AI development. First, let's look at surveillance and privacy invasion. AI-powered facial recognition can be used without consent, and that will threaten individual freedoms, such as governments can use AI to monitor citizens, restricting privacy and civil rights. And it can also be used to check employee keyboards, email, or movements that creates a toxic workplace. So AI-powered surveillance software that records employees' screen and logs every activities. Second, they can introduce bias and discrimination in AI. AI hiring systems can unintentionally favor certain demographics, leading to workplace inequality. AI-driven credit system may deny loans unfairly to certain groups, such as AI rejecting applications from specific neighborhoods due to biased historical data. Third, manipulation and misinformation. AI-generated fake videos can spread false information and harass individuals. For example, AI altering political speeches to manipulate public perception. And AI can prioritize sensational contents to boost engagement, worsening misinformation. For example, AI can amplify divisive political contents and increase polarization. And AI can be used to create autonomous weapons. So this introduced the ethics of AI in warfare, such as these lethal autonomous weapons system laws. AI weapons making life or death decisions without human oversight, such as AI-powered drones targeting individuals without human intervention. Next is exploitation of vulnerable populations, such as predatory advertising and exploitative micro-tasking. So AI can target vulnerable individuals with harmful ads, such as gambling addict can receive targeted betting ads based on AI behavior tracking. And AI can rely on underpaid human workers for tasks like data labeling. AI companies use cheap labor in developing countries to train models with minimal pay. Six is lack of transparency and accountability, such as black box algorithms. AI making decisions without explainability in high-stakes areas like healthcare and criminal justice, such as AI denying parole applications without an understandable reason. And it can create environmental harm because AI training can be resource intensive. So AI models training requires huge amount of computational power, leading to high carbon emissions. Training large language models, for example, consumes energy equivalent to thousands of households. So this unethical AI practice undermines trust, fairness, and societal well-being. Addressing these issues requires transparency, accountability, regulation, and responsible AI development to ensure AI serves humanity ethically and sustainably. So now let's look at generative AI, which is a term that got popularized over the last 2 to 3 years because ChatGPT. So generative AI is a powerful technology, but it comes with significant risks, from misuse and bias to privacy violations and intellectual property concerns. These risks must be carefully managed to ensure AI is used responsibly. First is misuse, such as deepfakes and misinformation. So deepfakes is one type of AI that can create fake videos, images, and audios that is used to deceive people. So AI-generated content can manipulate public opinion or damage reputations. So fake political speeches alter election narratives, for example, and it's hard to detect. Deepfake technology is advancing rapidly, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish real from fake. And privacy risks caused by AI-generated synthetic data because it can bypass privacy protections. AI-generated faces or biometrics data can trick human recognition systems that leads to identity threats. And AI can generate fake personal details, making it easier for fraudsters to impersonate real people. Bias in generative AI that will reinforce inequality, such as it can introduce training data bias. AI models learn from real-time data, which can include historical biases, such as it can produce discriminatory AI outputs. And AI used in hiring, lending, and criminal justice can unintentionally favor certain groups over others. For example, AI generating biased job descriptions that can discourage diversity. And unintended consequence that is caused by AI-generated errors, such as unexpected or harmful outputs. AI models sometimes generate offensive, misleading, or nonsensical contents. AI chatbots making false medical recommendations. And generative AI lack true understanding, making its responses unpredictable. And there are also intellectual property and copyright issues, such as AI-generated art and music. So generative AI can create artwork, music, and text that resembles copyrighted materials. So that will introduce legal uncertainty. And who owns AI-generated content? There's no clear answer for that question. Can AI legally replicate existing artistic styles? We don't know. So AI-generated artwork being sold without crediting human artists is something up for debate. So generative AI has immense potential, but also serious risks. Addressing issues like misuse, bias, privacy concerns, unintended consequences, and IP right is essential for ensuring AI remain ethical, fair, and beneficial. Now, let's look at some examples of misusing AI. So AI can be misused in harmful ways, leading to bias, privacy violations, malicious attacks, and even autonomous weapons. Addressing these risks is crucial to ensure AI is used responsibly and ethically. So first, let's look at bias and discrimination in AI. AI models can inherit biases from training data or biased developers. And it leads to significant consequence, unfair treatment in hiring, loans, healthcare, and criminal justice. And it can perpetuate social inequalities instead of fixing them. And it will also lead to invasion of privacy, that is AI and mass data collection. So AI can collect, process, and analyze vast amount of personal data. It can track health records, financial data, and personal communications without consent. And there are serious consequences, such as identity theft and data breaches. So surveillance concerns is also another consequence. So AI can check and monitor individual without their knowledge. And next one is autonomous weapons, use of AI in modern day warfare. AI-controlled drones and autonomous weapons can operate without human oversight. So AI weapons can make life or death decisions based on flawed algorithms. So unintended casualties and potential human rights can be violated, and there's lack of accountability in war zones, as AI-driven attacks can be easily traced. And deepfake can lead to AI-generated fake media. So AI create highly realistic fake videos, images, and audio. Deepfake videos impersonate politicians or falsely accusing individuals of crimes. So it can lead to spread of false information and manipulation of public opinion, and can also lead to identity theft and reputational damage. And malicious use of AI, such as fraud and cyber attacks, can also be a consequence as well. AI can be weaponized to conduct cyber attacks, fraud, and phishing scams. AI-powered chatbot, for example, can trick humans into revealing sensitive information, and therefore there can be financial loss, data theft, and security breaches. And there's increased difficulty in detecting AI-driven cyber crimes. So AI's misuse poses serious risks, from bias and privacy violations to fraud and warfare. Stronger regulations, ethical guidelines, and security measures are needed to ensure AI is developed and used responsibly for the benefit of society. Next, let's look at sources of bias in AI. So bias in AI occurs when AI produces unfair, discriminatory, or inaccurate outcome due to flaws in data, algorithms, or user interactions. Understanding the sources of bias is crucial for building fair and ethical AI systems. So first, bias source is data bias. This is the root of many AI biases. AI learns from training data, and if the data is biased, AI will reflect that bias. For example, a facial recognition system trained mostly on white faces may perform poorly on darker skin tones. So historical biases in data can reinforce discrimination. The data-driven approach can blindly perpetuate societal inequalities. Second, algorithmic bias, which are the flaws in AI decision-making. AI may systematically favor certain groups if the algorithm is designed improperly. And, for example, an AI hiring tool can prioritize male candidates due to biased training data. So AI models must be evaluated for fairness to prevent unintended discrimination. Third is user bias. These are the human influence on AI behavior. So AI can be influenced by user biases through biased data input or goal setting. A user training an AI chatbot with biased language can make it reinforce certain stereotypes. AI is not neutral. It learns from human behavior, making ethical user input essential. Next is environmental bias, the context in which AI operates. So AI may reflect and amplify existing societal inequalities in its deployment context. AI used in predictive policing may over-target certain communities due to historical discrimination in crime data. So deploying AI without considering social context can lead to harmful and biased outcomes. And technical bias, that is the limitations of AI technology. So AI models may have technical limitations affecting accuracy for a different demographic group, such as facial recognition struggles with accuracy for women and people of darker skin tones due to inadequate training diversity. So AI developers must test models on diverse populations to ensure equitable performance. So bias in AI comes from data, algorithms, users, environment, and technical limitations. To build fair AI, we must use diverse training data, evaluate AI models for fairness, reduce human biases in AI inputs, consider the social and environmental context, and also address technical limitations. By tackling these sources of biases, we can create AI that's fair, ethical, and inclusive. Bias in AI can lead to unfair, discriminatory, and harmful outcomes. Mitigating bias is crucial to ensuring AI systems are fair, transparent, and inclusive. Let's explore key strategies to reduce biases in AI models. First, collecting representative and diverse data. AI models are only as fair as the data they are trained on. The best practice would be use balanced data sets that represent all demographics. Conduct data audits to identify and remove biases in training data. Evaluating algorithms for fairness. AI models should be tested for bias before deployment. And we need to use fairness evaluation tools like SHAP technique that we discussed before. And we need to measure disparities in false positive and false negatives across different groups. We need to involve diverse stakeholders in AI development. AI teams should include diverse perspectives to avoid narrow, biased assumptions. We need to engage policy experts, advocacy groups, and impacted users during AI development. We need to conduct user testing across different populations before deployment. And we need to address environmental and technical bias. So AI should be tested in real-world conditions to detect bias in different contexts. AI in predictive policing should not reinforce historical discrimination in crime data. So we need to adjust AI models dynamically based on feedback and monitoring. We need to reduce bias introduced by technical limitations, such as facial recognition inaccuracy. So mitigating AI biases requires a multi-step approach, including diverse and representative data collection, fairness evaluation in AI algorithms, inclusive stakeholder involvement, and awareness and technical and environmental limitations. By proactively addressing bias, we can develop AI systems that are ethical, fair, and transparent, ensuring AI benefits all individuals equitably. As AI adoption increases, clear guidelines and ethical safeguards are necessary to prevent risks and ensure responsible AI use. Let's explore key guardrails that help organizations align AI with ethical, legal, and social values. We need to establish clear goals and objectives. AI adoption should align with an organization's mission, values, and ethical principles. A healthcare AI system should prioritize patient well-being over efficiency alone. We need to define specific objectives for AI that promote fairness, transparency, and accountability. We need to avoid AI applications that could cause unintended harm. And we need to conduct a thorough risk assessment. So this assessment can identify ethical, legal, and social risks before AI deployment. So we need to conduct this impact assessment on privacy, bias, security, and legal risks. We need to establish protocols for addressing AI failures or unintended consequences. We need to develop a comprehensive governance framework. We can create accountability structures for AI development and deployment, such as by assigning AI ethic committees or governance boards. So we can define responsibilities for AI oversight and ethical compliance, and set up review mechanisms to assess AI behavior regularly. We must ensure transparency and explainability. We can use explainable AI techniques to make AI outputs more transparent. We require AI models to justify decisions in high-risk applications. And we need to implement robust data privacy and security measures. It can protect sensitive data and prevent breaches, such as AI-powered healthcare system must comply with HIPAA and GDPR regulations. So we can use encryption, differential privacy, and strict access control, and regularly audit AI data usage for compliance. And we also need to provide ongoing AI training and education. We can promote responsible AI use among employees and stakeholders. We can train developers to detect and mitigate AI biases, and educate teams on AI ethics, fairness, and accountability. We should encourage cross-disciplinary discussions to integrate diverse perspectives. We should monitor and evaluate AI systems continuously so it can identify bias, errors, or unintended consequences post-deployment. We can set up continuous auditing systems for AI performance tracking and adapt AI based on real-world feedback to minimize risks. So responsible AI adoption requires proactive governance, transparency, security, and continuous monitoring. By implementing these guardrails, organizations can ensure AI is ethical, fair, and aligned with societal values while minimizing risks. So AI systems have made impressive advancement, but several incidents highlight the risk and ethical challenges associated with AI deployment. Let's look at some of key examples and what we can learn from them. First is Microsoft Tay chatbot back in 2016 that shows the danger of unfiltered learning. So Microsoft launched Tay, a chatbot designed to learn from user interactions on Twitter. Within 24 hours, Tay began posting racist, sexist, and inflammatory messages after being influenced by malicious users. So Tay was shut down and Microsoft issued an apology. So this example highlights the risk of unfiltered AI learning from toxic environments. So we learned a lesson that content moderation and guardrails are essential for AI systems that learn from public interactions. And then Facebook in 2017 ran an experiment with two chatbots negotiating using natural language. The chatbot developed a new communication protocol that developers couldn't understand. So it raised concerns about safety and transparency as the behavior of AI systems become unpredictable. So it's important that interpretability and transparency are crucial in AI systems to maintain control and trust. In 2018, Google Duplex, which is an AI that could make phone calls and sound people, booking a hair appointment without disclosing it was AI. So critics label it deceptive as it blurred the line between human and machine communication. So it raised concerns about user trust, transparency, and informed consent in human AI interactions. So AI systems interacting with humans must disclose their identity and act transparently. So these incidents reveal the complex challenges in deploying AI systems safely and ethically. To prevent similar issues, AI development must prioritize transparency and explainability, strong content moderation, ethical guidelines, and disclose processes, continuous monitoring, and evaluation. By learning from these past mistakes, we can build better and more responsible AI systems. So these are the failures caused mostly by chatbots. Now let's look at other type of mistakes that are made by computer vision systems. So in 2018, Amazon's facial recognition system recognition showed higher error rate when identifying women and people of color. This raised concerns about racial and gender bias in AI. So it sparked debates about using AI in law enforcement and the potential for discriminatory practices. So we learned the lesson that diverse representative training data and bias audits are crucial for reducing AI discrimination. And in 2015, Google's image recognition algorithm mistakenly identified two Black individuals as gorillas. This incident highlighted deep flaws in image classification algorithms. So it raised serious concerns about algorithmic bias and the lack of diverse training data. So we learned the lesson that AI systems must be trained and tested on diverse data set to ensure fair treatment for all groups. And in 2016, a Tesla driver using autopilot was killed when the system failed to detect a turning truck, causing a fatal collision. So then safety and reliability of autonomous vehicles came after scrutiny. An autonomous system must have robust fail-safes and continuous real-world testing to ensure safety. And in 2016, in addition to its text responses, Te's computer vision component was manipulated by user feeding it offensive images. This led to inappropriate and harmful responses. It revealed the risk of user manipulation in AI systems lacking proper moderations. And in 2010, Google Street View collected data from unsecure Wi-Fi networks while capturing photographs. This raised significant concerns about privacy violations. Google faced global backlash and legal action for invading user privacy. So AI systems must respect human privacy, user privacy, and strict data governance are non-negotiable in AI deployment. So these incidents highlight the real-world consequences of AI biases, safety risks, and privacy violations. To prevent similar failure, AI developers must ensure fairness and diversity in data and model. They must conduct rigorous safety and reliability tests and implement strong privacy protections and governance frameworks. By learning from these experiences, we can create AI systems that are ethical, reliable, and safe for all. While AI holds great potential, it can also widen existing inequalities if not implemented responsibly. AI can exacerbate economic, social, and cultural divides due to unequal access, bias, job displacement, and lack of transparency. First is unequal access to AI technology. So AI requires high-speed internet computing power and technical resources that are not equally available worldwide. Rural or low-income area often lack access to the necessary digital infrastructure. So there's some digital divide that can grow between those who can benefit from AI and those left behind. And economic and educational inequalities become more entrenched. Second, bias and discrimination. AI models trained on bias data reflect and exemplify existing biases. So that will lead to discriminatory outcomes in hiring, credit scoring, or healthcare. And marginalized communities can face increased inequality. It can also lead to job displacement and economic inequality. So AI automates repetitive and routine tasks, displacing jobs in manufacturing, customer service, and logistics. So AI chatbots replacing customer service, customer support roles, or robots taking over warehouse jobs. So lower skilled workers face unemployment or the need for retraining, which is not always accessible. And economic inequality increases as wealth concentrates in AI-powered industry. And there's also lack of transparency and accountability. AI systems are often complex and difficult to interpret, leading to hidden biases and errors. So they can lead to unfair treatment without recourse and erosion of public trust in AI systems. We also have data privacy concerns. AI depends on large data sets, but data collection practices can compromise privacy. And that can lead to loss of control over personal information, and unequal data access can further benefit powerful organizations at the expense of individuals. So AI system can also reinforce cultural biases such as gender and racial stereotypes. So it can perpetuate social inequality and systematic biases, failure to serve the needs of underrepresented communities. AI has the potential to widen existing inequalities unless it's developed and deployed responsibly. To minimize these risks, organizations must ensure equal access to AI technology, use diverse data sets and audit for bias, provide transparent and accountable AI systems, and invest in upskilling workers for the AI economy. By addressing these challenges, we can harness AI for positive change, ensuring it benefits everyone, not just a privileged few. So open sourcing a large language model offers great potential for innovation and collaboration, but it also raises complex legal, ethical, and copyright challenges. So first key concern is training on copyrighted material. So large language models are often trained on large data sets that include copyrighted texts, such as books, academic papers, and websites, may be used without explicit permission. Unauthorized use of copyrighted material may lead to legal disputes. And LLM output can closely resemble copyrighted contents, creating derivative works. For example, a poem generated by a large language model that resembles a copyrighted poem. So contents might be considered a derivative work, which requires permission from the original copyright holder. And AI-generated content complicates traditional notion of authorship. For who owns a novel written entirely by a large language model, that would be a problem. So there's lack of clear ownership that may lead to disputes over rights and controls, and potential for direct copyright infringement. So LLMs may generate and distribute verbatim copies of copyrighted text. Like it can generate exact passages from copyrighted books. So this risks direct infringement of copyright holder rights. And there's also concern about fair use and transformative use. So the legal debate here is some large language model generated contents might qualify as fair use or transformative, depending on its purpose and nature. AI-generated summaries may be considered as transformative, but full reproduction may not. So the challenge here is fair use criteria vary by jurisdiction, making it difficult to ensure compliance globally. And then there's also risk of lack of attribution. So large language models often do not attribute sources of the training data, generating text inspired by an author's work without crediting them. So the risk is violating moral rights and fails to give proper recognition to creators. There's also ethical and legal challenges. Training large language models without explicit consent from copyright holders raise serious ethical questions, such as using private contents for training without permission. So legal risk is increased potential for lawsuits and regulatory scrutiny, and the need for legal clarity. Existing copyright laws do not fully address AI-generated contents. Evolving AI capabilities highlight the need for clear guidance and reforms. So open sourcing a large language model must be done with careful attention to copyright, authorship, and ethical concerns. To mitigate risks, organizations must seek legal guidance on fair use and copyright compliance, and use public domain or openly licensed data for training, and implement attribution mechanisms wherever possible, and advocate for legal clarity and fair AI policies. So by addressing these challenges, we can balance innovation with responsibility and create a more sustainable AI ecosystem. Now let's look at a way to abuse AI and large language models specifically. So jailbreaking large language models refers to manipulating AI models to bypass safety restrictions, content filters, and ethical guidelines set by developers. This practice raises ethical, security, and legal concerns, but also highlights the importance of continuous monitoring and robust design to secure AI systems. So there are several goals to jailbreak large language models. First is to bypass restrictions. Jailbreaking is often aimed at circumventing built-in filters that prevent harmful, biased, and inappropriate responses, such as generating restricted content such as hate speech or disallowed instructions. Second, the second goal is to explore model capabilities. Some users jailbreaks large language model to test the full range of the model's capabilities, pushing it beyond intended use cases, such as probing the model to simulate complex tasks or review hidden behaviors. And there are several techniques that are commonly used in jailbreaking. First one is prompt engineering. So we can cleverly craft prompts to exploit dependencies in input patterns, tricking the model into bypassing safeguards. For example, we can ask the model to role-play scenarios that produce restricted contents. A model inversion, so reverse engineering the model's behavior by understanding how it processes information to override restrictions. For example, we can force the model to predict and review sensitive information, internal data pattern. And adversarial inputs. So inputting unexpected or adversarial data that the model is not well prepared to handle, causing unintended responses. So one example is to use nonsensical or malicious input to bypass content moderation. And there are risks and concerns about jailbreaking large language models. So first is ethical issues. Jailbreaking can result in unethical, biased, or harmful outputs, raising serious ethical concerns, such as generating disinformation, extremist contents, or offensive language. And it can pose security risks by circumventing safeguards and expose vulnerabilities, enabling malicious attacks on AI systems, such as revealing private or sensitive data stored in the model. And the legal implications. Jailbreaking may violate terms of service or copyright laws, leading to legal consequences, such as modifying a proprietary AI system without permission, and mitigation efforts. So developers continuously improve the model's resilience to adversary input and refine responses, such as reinforcing filter with context-based safeguards and continuous monitoring. Regular updates and real-time monitoring help detect and adjust new jailbreaking techniques, such as using AI-driven tools to scan for unusual activity patterns, and community guidelines and ethical standards. We can establish clear guidelines for users and promote responsible AI interaction, reduce the risk of jailbreaking. So jailbreaking large language models reflects the ongoing challenge of securing AI systems while balancing user freedom, safety, and ethical considerations. Ensuring AI systems remain robust, safe, and aligned with societal norms requires improved design and monitoring, continuous collaboration between developers and users, and proactive responses to evolving threats. With these strategies, we can help protect AI integrity and promote responsible innovations. So next, we will explore how AI is transforming military operations through autonomous weapon system, AWS, and AI-driven surveillance and other technologies. These applications bring both strategic advantages and serious ethical concerns, shaping the future of warfare. First, let's look at autonomous weapon systems, AWS. These are AI-powered weapons capable of selecting and engaging targets without direct human intervention. Instead of waiting for a soldier or commander to pull the trigger, this system uses advanced sensors, machine learning, and real-time data processing to decide when and how to strike. Examples of AWS include lethal AWS and AI-powered defense systems. So these lethal AWS are AI-controlled missiles, drones, and robotic soldiers capable of acting independently on the battlefield. AI-powered defense systems are automated systems like Israel's Iron Dome, which intercepts incoming threats without human intervention to protect civilian areas. So military invests in autonomous weapons for multiple reasons, such as faster reaction time. AI operates on speeds far beyond human capabilities, allowing immediate responses to threats and reduced risk to human soldiers. AI-driven combat systems can enter dangerous zones where human presence would be too risky, and precision targeting. AI can reduce collateral damage by identifying and neutralizing threats with higher accuracy than human soldiers. So imagine a high-speed missile defense system. By the time a human analyzes a radar system, an AI system have already intercepted the missiles. So that's the power of AWS. Despite these advantages, autonomous weapons raise major ethical and strategic concerns. First, there's lack of human oversight. Who is responsible if an AI drone kills civilians by mistake? Unlike human soldiers, AI has no moral judgment and potential for AI errors because AI struggles in complex warfare scenarios, such as distinguishing between a civilian and a combatant holding a weapon, and risk of escalation. If autonomous weapons make independent decisions, could we see an unintended war triggered by AI miscalculations? So let's consider an example. An AI drone mistaking a child holding a metal object for an enemy combatant. That's not a hypothetical risk. Mistaken targeting has already happened in warfare with human-controlled drones. Now imagine removing human control entirely. So AWS raised the question, should AI be given the power to decide life and death? Beyond weapons, AI is also revolutionizing military surveillance. So the reconnaissance systems use AI-driven intelligence gathering, analysis, and real-time battlefield monitoring to enhance military decision-making. So examples of AI in military surveillance include autonomous drones, satellite AI systems. So autonomous drones are used for surveillance without human pilots. They can patrol hostile territories and identify threats automatically. And satellite AI systems include air-powered satellites that can analyze massive amount of imagery to detect troop movements, missile launches, or even underground bunkers. Imagine a stealth drone patrolling enemy territory, analyzing movement patterns, and alerting military commanders before an attack happens. So there are advantages of AI in surveillance and reconnaissance. It can enhance situational awareness. AI provides real-time battlefield intelligence and help commanders make informed strategic decisions. And it can automate data analysis instead of having human analysts scan thousands of images manually. AI can detect threats, unusual activity, or patterns automatically. For example, in modern warfare, AI-driven satellite surveillance can detect a missile site being prepared before a strike occurs, giving nations valuable time to respond. But there's also concerns and risks. So AI-driven facial recognition and tracking system can be used not just against enemy combatants, but also against civilians, critical activists, and journalists. And there are risks of manipulation and hacking. If an AI reconnaissance system is hacked or manipulated, it could feed false intelligence, leading to disastrous military decisions. Bias in AI-based threat detection. AI systems learn from historical data. What if that data contains biases that misclassify certain groups as threats? This could lead to disproportionate military actions. Consider this scenario. An AI surveillance system misidentify an innocent convoy as enemy soldiers due to poor quality training data. This could trigger an airstrike on civilians. This raises a critical question. How can we ensure AI surveillance is accurate, ethical, and not misused? So AI in autonomous weapons and military surveillance brings both immense advantages and serious risks. While AI improves reaction time, precision, and battlefield intelligence, it also raises ethical dilemmas, security threats, and accountability issues. So the key takeaway here is AI-driven AWS autonomous weapon system can enhance military effectiveness but risk uncontrolled warfare and civilian casualties. AI-powered surveillance and reconnaissance boost battlefield intelligence. But also raise concerns over privacy, security, and potential biases. So the core debate here is, should AI be given the power to decide who lives and who dies? Should AI surveillance check citizens as well as enemies? These are the challenges government, military forces, and AI researchers must address as we move towards an AI-driven future of warfare. As AI-powered military systems become more advanced, they bring significant ethical, legal, and strategic challenges. Now we will explore 5 major concerns related to autonomous weapons and AI decision-making in warfare, from accountability and escalation risks to bias, human control, and international regulations. First, let's look at accountability and decision-making. So the challenge is to decide who is responsible for AI mistakes. Imagine an autonomous drone mistakenly targeting a civilian convoy instead of enemy soldiers. Who is held accountable? Will they be military commanders because they approve the system's deployment? Will it be AI developers because they designed the model but did not control its battlefield decisions, or the AI system itself, but an AI cannot take legal or moral responsibility? So this is a huge legal and ethical dilemma. Unlike human soldiers, AI does not face consequences for mistakes. So how do we enforce accountabilities? So can AI be morally accountable? Think about it. So AI lacks human judgment, conscience, and accountability, yet it makes life or death decisions. If an AI mistakenly identifies a school as a military base, who take responsibility for the casualties? Without clear accountability, autonomous weapons create legal and moral loopholes. And there's also risk of escalation and an AI arms race. So the challenge here is AI lowering the threshold for armed conflicts. AI can process battlefield intelligence instantly and execute attacks in milliseconds. But does that mean wars will start faster and more frequently? Countries racing to develop AI weapons may deploy them prematurely without fully understanding their consequences. An AI-powered warfare could remove the time for diplomatic intervention, increasing the risk of unintended wars. And then the ethical concern here is autonomous warfare without international agreement. Unlike nuclear weapons, there are no global treaties regulating AI weapons yet. If one country deploys AI weapons, others might feel pressured to do the same, creating an AI arms race. If an AI-controlled missile defense system mistakenly interprets a radar signal as an attack, could it start an unintended war? And there's risk of bias and discrimination in targeting. The challenge is AI can learn biases from training data. AI systems rely on historical data to identify threats, but what if that data contains bias? If military AI is trained on biased historical intelligence, it may wrongly classify certain ethnic or political groups as threats. So AI surveillance system could target specific regions unfairly, leading to unjust attacks. So the ethical concern here is AI reinforce political and racial biases. AI could be used to justify disproportionate attacks on marginalized communities, such as a biased AI system may wrongly classify a peaceful protest as a riot and trigger a military response. Algorithmic bias in warfare could exacerbate racial, religious, and political conflicts. There's risk of loss of human control and moral judgment because AI lacks moral reasoning. Humans make battlefield decisions not just based on logic, but also ethics, empathy, and moral reasoning. AI does not. AI follows programmed logic. It does not weigh moral consequences. For example, AI soldier might hesitate before attacking a hospital to assess civilian risk, but an AI may execute an attack if it fits the program criteria. And the ethical concern is the risk of unintended atrocities. AI lacks compassion, remorse, and ethical reasoning. Warfare without human oversight increases the risk of war crimes and unintended massacres. If AI weapons are not controlled by humans, how do we prevent moral failure on the battleground? And then we also need international regulation and governance. So the challenge here is outdated international laws. The Geneva Conventions regulate human warfare, but they do not specifically address AI weapons. Without global agreement, AI weapons could be used irresponsibly by governments, authoritarian regimes, or terrorist groups. So ethical concern is AI weapons might end up in the hands of dangerous actors. Autonomous weapons could be deployed by dictators, rogue states, or extremist groups without accountability, such as a terrorist group using AI-driven drones for targeted assassinations or mass surveillance. So there's need for global AI weapons regulations. Some experts argue that autonomous weapons should be banned, like chemical and biological weapons. Others believe that strict governance and international agreements could control AI warfares. So AI in warfare presents huge challenges for accountability, security, and ethics. While AI weapons enhance military effectiveness, they also raise risk of escalation, bias, and loss of human control. So below are some key takeaways. First, who is responsible for AI battlefield mistakes? Without clear accountability, we risk a legal and ethical gray area. Second, an AI arms race could increase global instabilities and it make war more frequent and harder to control. Third, AI bias in targeting could disproportionately harm marginalized groups, reinforcing discrimination in warfare. Fourth, autonomous weapons remove human moral judgment and raises concern about unintended atrocities. Fifth, global regulations are needed to prevent AI weapons from being misused by dangerous actors. So we need to be extremely careful and make sure the ethical implication of AI in military uses are fully explored and discussed.